Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here on a hot take about Biden and Kamala Harris. Everybody's talking about Kamala Harris still. They are reeling from the announcement that Kamala Harris is going to be on the ticket. And here's the announcement here. Together we will beat Donald Trump. No, you won't. Look at these two. Look at these two. What looks like a bad scene from The Office. The first black and Indian American woman to represent California in the United States Senate. So what? So first, I guess she's not the first black and Indian American woman to be in the United States Senate. You had to qualify it to represent California, I guess. Jeez, Joan, your breath stinks on ice. Whew. Oh, I just got a whiff of the breath. What the hell have you been eating? What the hell have I been feeding you? Oof. That stinks. Much like this campaign. Ha ha ha. So looking at the latest, Joe's leadership on the beer virus crisis. He's got a bunch of statements, and then his weird picture in the background. It says colonial early education. What is that? That sounds weird. And then, you got Grandpa Joe here trying to laugh it up with the kids. But then all the statements, like, they end at the end of April. I guess you forgot to update this. Aren't you supposed to update this stuff if this is called the latest? The latest is Joe's about 3 months behind on updating his website, apparently. Action Center. Oh, I'm not putting my name in that. Screw that. Joe's vision. Because Kamala doesn't get a vision, I guess. I mean, I found something down here which was interesting. So, right, you got Joe Biden's agenda for the Catholic community, for students, for the black community, for the Latino community, for the Jewish community, for the Muslim American community. Joe Biden's commitment to Indian country. And yes, he does mean Native Americans there. Now, why did he say it like that? He's got Jewish community, Muslim community, Latino community. You have Latino community. He has Latino community twice. Ooh, this website. I wonder if this was supposed to be Asian community, because that seems to be the only group missing. But he's got Indian country. That sounds like something a cowboy would say. What the hell? What are you doing? It's not a mistake. Joe Biden's commitment to Indian country. Join Native Americans for Biden. I don't know if they like to be called Indians, Joe. I'm pretty sure that's a dated term. You're supposed to be calling them Native Americans, or I guess you can call them natives. Or how about just calling them Americans? I mean, why do we have to make all these distinctions? It's like, hey, are you in a marginalized group? Join us. So this is Latino. Agenda for the Latino community. It should be Latinx, Joe. Latinx is the correct term now. Joe Biden and the Latino community. Oh, so it's two different things. But it has the same title. You gotta fix that. Environmental justice. I think I read that one last time. This is basically the new Green Deal in a nutshell. America is an idea. I got to work on my Joe Biden. I got an idea for a sketch for Joe Biden that I want to do. And I want to do it, but I don't think I could do his voice, because he doesn't really have that distinctive voice. I think you just have to say, man, come on, man. He's like there's a little bit of a southern thing going on in there. You got to vote for me or you ain't black. But I think, like Hillary Clinton, he kind of puts on more of a southern accent when he's around black people. I think that's a thing. Again, he's an old school guy. He forgets that, the internet is forever. Look at this picture. Wow. She is like, oh, I love Joe Biden and everything about him. Uh, but he still looks so old. He looks so old. He looks kind of like um, when Alex Ross draws Superman as super old, like grandpa type Superman, grandpa level Superman, little bit. But this looks like an old picture of him. He looks a little younger there. If you could possibly call that looking younger, you know. Here's one of the quotes. The world is facing inescapable changes, a rapidly changing climate, the risk of nuclear conflict, trade wars, a rising China, an aggressive Russia, millions of refugees seeking shelter and security, and attacks on universal human rights and fundamental freedoms. The next president must repair our relationships with our allies and stand up to strongmen and thugs on the global stage to rally the world to meet these challenges. We can reclaim our long-standing position as the moral and economic leader of the world. Wow, what a statement! The moral, economic leader of the world, dude. I don't not want to push our morals on other countries. That is a disaster waiting to happen. And I would say no on aggressive Russia. Russia is not aggressive towards us. You want to compare Russia now to when they were the Soviet Union and would threaten to destroy us on a regular basis? There's no comparison there. They're not aggressive. They're not aggressive. China's aggressive. A rising China. At least he had to finally say it. China is very aggressive, I believe. Millions of refugees seeking shelter and security. Take care of your own people first, Joe. Look, there are millions of refugees all over the world, but we can't take them all. Even Bernie Sanders said that back in the day. Can't take them all. Tax on universal human rights and fundamental freedoms. What's that mean? From who? Where? Are you talking about other countries or here? The next president must repair our relationships with our allies. No, what he's got to do is make sure our allies don't screw us, as they were doing with NATO. And that's something I know you wouldn't do. I know you wouldn't do. Because, a lot of presidents use foreign aid as bribes to other countries. They're just straight up bribes. Stand up to strongmen and thugs on the global stage. You'll stand up to them when it's politically expedient to do so. Just like everybody else. Come on. 83 days left. Thank God. Thank God we're in the last 3 months of this. Can we finally stop talking about politics when that election's over? Can we finally just stop and just, oh, this is the same one. Geez, this is not a very good website. Here's the latest. The other latest wasn't updated. There's 2 latest on this. There's latest here and latest here. Statement from Biden on infections in the United States. 5 million. 5 million infections in the U.S. Yeah, but most people don't suffer. That's so stupid. Statement from Joe Biden on the 3rd anniversary of right-wing protests in Charlottesville. Okay. Why would you do that? Seems weird. Seems weird to do. It's like, there's so many left-wing riots going on. They had to go back to that riot in Charlottesville just to point, remember the right-wingers? They're very violent. I think we know who's the violent ones right now. And look, it changes. There was a time when you had, I shouldn't say right-wingers were the violence. Even early in this Trump time, Trump era, we had both left and right coming out fighting each other. Now all the right-wingers have been they've kind of been silenced or pushed off to the side, or they've been arrested, and it's just not worth it for them to come out, I think, because they just get persecuted endlessly. And some of that is partly the strategy on the left. The left extremists that have targeted right wing extremists. The problem is they ran out of right wing extremists rather quickly because there's not that many of them. And now they keep lowering the bar and lowering the bar and lowering the bar and lowering the bar and lowering the bar. And now everybody's a fascist. Now they go after everybody. You know, when they go smash up places in Portland and Seattle, they don't, stop to just discriminate who's gonna do who. The only thing they're gonna stop for is if you got a sign supporting Antifa, they might leave your shop alone. But it's just gotten completely out of hand. I don't think these two are going to do a damn thing about it, despite their incredible tough record on crime, which was hypocritical and more authoritarian than anything else. Look at this picture of Biden. He still looks like 100 years old. Yeah, it's that hair. It's hair that does it, and that spots. Like, if he had dyed his hair, he might have had a shot, but I don't think he was ever intended to run again, Maybe this is all just, a show to get through the election, to not too terribly embarrass the DNC. But I think they're actually achieving the opposite. And Harris is like the worst pick. She's just terrible and unlikable, has terrible policies. The only upside I can see to the DNC nominating her is they figured, like, this will finally give her a shot, albeit a long one. And they basically took her in and said, listen, we don't like you. You can't win, but we're going to let you run for a VP slot because we're probably going to lose this. And you get a book deal out of it. You'll make some money, but, understand your political career will pretty much be over after this in terms of running for president. And it will. She'll be the Sarah Palin of the Democratic Party. After they run her through the ringer, and you're going to put her up against Pence. All Pence has to do is, stand there and look relatively competent. There's not much he has to do. I think if Kylie, the press secretary, preps him, he'll demolish Kamala too. Kamala will say some things, some emotional things, but they'll sound hollow coming from her. See, this is why Biden should have picked somebody else. Like, if he had picked a total unknown, at least they could have built that unknown up. Like, even somebody, some no-name congresswoman in the middle of nowhere, even Ilhan Omar. Well, she would have been terrible. Even AOC, quite frankly, would have been a better pick than Kamala Harris. Anybody in any state other than California, really. So, it's just a terrible, terrible pick. Ain't going to help Joe. It hurts Joe. It really hurts him. But, maybe the swap out's going to happen. Maybe he'll be swapped out for Hillary Clinton. Maybe that's been the plan this whole time. I don't know. But I do know, Kamala Harris, I can only imagine if she ended up debating Trump. Wow, what a matchup that would be. Again, she's just going to get trashed. She's a terrible debater. Not good at all. She made she scored a few points in the primaries early on, but that was because there were so many people on the stage. You couldn't help but stumble into a moment. But when she got confronted by Tulsi Gabbard, knocked her right out. I mean, her record is so hypocritical. She is an albatross around a poor old man's neck.